Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining another webinar with Seso Global. We will be starting at about 3 minutes past the hour, just waiting for a few more participants to join. So please hang in there and you'll hear from me and the esteemed panelists very soon. Thank you. Hi, good afternoon once again to everyone. Thank you so much for joining this webinar on how to buy land in Ghana. This is actually a follow-up from what we did last month. So for everyone who is returning, thank you for returning. And if you're a first-time attendee, thank you so much for joining. We will be running through various considerations on how to buy land in Ghana, things that you just need to consider before making that step. And I am joined by two esteemed panelists. They are returning panelists, Abdul Razak Jima from Fidelity Bank. He's going to run us through some financing options that have become available in the market. Very exciting times ahead. And then Sandra Muzimba, who's also a returning guest on our webinar series, and she's going to tell us about an exciting project that Cape May Properties is undertaking. Before I get into things, please don't wait till the end of the webinar. In case you have any questions that arise from anything any of the speakers say, please use the chat box to ask your questions, and we will definitely run through all of them. And so in typical Seso fashion, good afternoon once again, I'm Dansoaa. I'm Vice President of Strategy and Operations with Seso Global. At Seso Global, we are a one-stop shop property marketplace. We have over 200 real estate developers and over 1,000 properties across various jurisdictions, not limited to Ghana. So we have properties in Nigeria, in Liberia, in South Africa, and it's the beloved motherland, Ghana also. But in addition to the properties, we also have property services. As you all may know, buying property it can be a complex process. And when I say complex, doesn't mean difficult, but complex in the sense that there's so many different parts that you have to satisfy and different service providers that you have to engage. And on our platform, we pride ourselves in being a one-stop shop and having a 360 degree service delivery. And so you can get access to property service like valuers, architects, surveyors, mortgage banks, you name it, we have it listed on the website. And so in the course of this webinar, we will leave the link to our marketplace if you haven't already been there in the chat box so that you can check it out and link up with a property or a property service that you need. And everything we do is also leveraged with blockchain technology. I forgot to add that. And so we do have very unique propositions to bring financing, particularly through our CRM. And I know Razak will speak a bit about that when he speaks. And it's all part of our contribution into the real estate ecosystem, bringing property and property solutions right to your fingertips. I was about to say doorsteps, but to your fingertips. And so I just want to run us very quickly through buying land in Ghana. We spoke extensively last month on the legal considerations and a detailed discussion on the land tenure system in Nigeria and in Accra. And so I don't want to repeat everything that we said, but it is important to go over. And so these have been grouped, the considerations have been grouped into two: the legal considerations and then the personal considerations. And each of them are equally important. Now, we all know that real estate is expensive. And when I say it's expensive, when you compare it to other assets or other things that people are, I don't want to use the word striving, but for lack of a better phrase, striving for in their lives, it's an asset that holds considerable value. And so it's something that has to be taken with a lot of caution and a lot of thought. And so under the legal considerations, and again, this is just rehashing some of the topics that we picked up in our last webinar, is determining the owner of the property. Now, determining the owner of the property is not just knowing the owner's name and taking their word for it. Every property documentation will come with who the present owner is. And when you do a search at the Lands Commission and the relevant agencies, it will give you a name. But how do you know that the person you're dealing with is that person whose name is on the documents? And a very easy way of determining this is asking for ID. It's a very simple request, and every request, except very burdensome requests, but I think when you're spending a lot of money, most requests are not burdensome, is a step to protect you, the purchaser. So it's important to ask for the person's ID. So if it's an individual, to ask for their ID. If it's an individual representing a larger family unit or a business unit, to probe further and ask for details of such so that you can verify. It's very, very important because people can, steal other people's identities, pretend to be who they're not. And so you just have to be extra careful that when you're buying land in particular, you are making sure that you're dealing with the rightful person, okay? So if Mr. Owusu says he owns land A, to verify, you can ask for his Ghana card, his passport, to make sure that you are actually dealing with Mr. Owusu and the specific Mr. Owusu that is outlined in the documents. And then very quickly, we talked about undertaking the necessary due diligence. So doing your searches at the Lands Commission, which is comprised of various different departments, each of which is critical within the registration process. So you would know what's happening at every stage in the registration process. Hiring your own surveyor to pick up the points of the land that has been shown to you, to make sure that the land that's being shown to you is the same land in the documents that have been presented to you. It's also very, very important. And then understanding the interest that you're being given. Are you being given a leasehold, a sublease? Freeholds, we learned, are no longer legal in Ghana. So you know that if someone's offering you a freehold, it's a red flag. And then the lease term that's being granted to you. Okay, so those are just a few points on the legal aspect of it. And we will make sure to send everybody here the link to our last webinar so that if there's more information you want on any of these legal considerations, you can pick it up from there. Now, today, I want to touch a bit more on the personal considerations. I think that having dealt with people for several years when purchasing property, a lot of these considerations are either not known or completely ignored. And sometimes that ultimately leads to loss, right? Loss in value, loss in time. and also loss in money. Okay, and we don't want anybody on this webinar, anyone you know, to be a victim of that. So it's important to share. So the first thing you want to do is understand why are you looking to purchase land? What's the objective for the purchase? Is it for investment purposes? Are you purchasing it to build your own home? Is it a legacy project? Is it something that you're buying down for your children? What is the reason, right? And the reason why this is important is different locations work for different projects, okay? Not everything works for what we have intended it for. I once had a conversation with a friend who wanted to buy something in an area. And when I probed, he said he wanted to build something for rent. But it was a developing area, so I knew that the rentals were going to be quite low. It's not an area that people even live in now. And this was a couple of years ago. So it was a conversation, say, what you're trying to do, this is not the right location, and this is not the right time. And so it's either you're waiting till it's the right time, or you're choosing another location. And so understanding the objective helps you to choose the right location for your property. In Accra, for instance, there are locations where if you have property there, you can charge in US dollars. You can't do that in every single location, okay? And you cannot force that expectation on certain locations either, because again, it just shows that there was a lack of understanding of the dynamics of the market. So understanding the objectives helps you to choose the right location so that you have a location and an objective match, okay? Then the next thing is to understand your property needs. And when I say the needs, I'm talking about your size requirements. Knowing what you want to do, understanding the right location, and then knowing the space requirements can save you a lot of money. For the Ghanaians on this webinar, like people whose parents are probably in their 60s and 70s would know that during their time, the standard plot size was 100 feet by 100 feet, which is about 10,000 square feet. Okay, now the standard plot size is 70 by 100, and there are even half plots. Now, these size requirements have changed over time. One, because land is finite, we don't have enough of it. But two, because people realize that I could do what I want to do on a lower price plot, therefore saving myself money, because if you know what land values are in Accra, saving as much as you can is very, very important. So when you understand your size requirements, which is really based on, again, your objective, your family size, whether that's your forever family size, your family has reached its capacity, or your family is yet to grow, it all helps you to understand what you want to do, okay, as far as size is concerned. So would you start with a half plot? If your family expands, maybe look for a project later on and get a bigger plot. It all really depends on the individual and what it is that you are trying to achieve. The next thing I want to talk about is the timeline for the purchase, which also ties into the budget somewhat. When do you want to buy the land? And when you buy it, when do you want to start construction? In Ghana, nobody buys land and leaves it. Even if you bought it from the rightful owner, it's not the most prudent thing to do, especially if it's in a location that isn't developing and you haven't put in the measures to protect your land. And so it's very important that if you're buying something and you have a 10-year horizon to start development, for instance, you have to secure the land. You have to, as they say, take possession of it by building a wall, probably have a caretaker, build a small unit for a caretaker to be in, so that that caretaker will protect your interests, okay? If you're looking to buy something within a gated community, a lot of these gated communities have timelines for development. So if you also think that you're going to buy the land and wait 10, 15 years to start developing, that development may not be the right one for you. So understanding that would help you choose which development meets your needs better. And then your budget. I think property prices are very well known, very well documented. There's a lot of information out there on what price prevails in which areas. And so if you have a budget of, I don't know, say 100,000 Ghana cedis, there are locations that fit that budget, okay? And you need to know that if this is my budget, these are the locations that are open to me. And I think, again, that sometimes from our interactions at work, that sometimes people think that, well, this is what I have, and so I should be able to. But again, we're working within an industry, and in an industry that has so many things affecting the pricing, the demand, and then the supply. And so your budget will determine, again, going back to your timeline. So perhaps you need a bit more time to build up your capital to get the amount for the land. Perhaps you need to reduce the size of land you're considering. Maybe your initial plan was to get a full plot, but upon consideration, you are content with going for something smaller because that is what your budget would take. Or you want to access a mortgage, which can give you access to funds to pay, because sometimes affordability is just really about timelines. It's not about whether you have the money or not, but it's your ability to pay over a period of time. And before you even go into making an acquisition, these are considerations that you need to make. And then the last thing I want to talk about before our speakers come on is access to infrastructure. Again, tied to the objectives of your purchase. There are people who are very happy living off-grid in remote areas. People who are very, very comfortable. Like so many people in Ghana who are actually doing that. You need to determine whether that's something you can do, because some areas may seem like living off-grid for a while. And if that doesn't work for you and doesn't work for your lifestyle, then that isn't something that you should be looking to purchase. Again, depending on what your timelines are, what your family size is, where you work, where your kids go to school. It's really, really important to put all of these things together in addition to the legal considerations before you determine that, okay, I'm going ahead with this property. I'm going to access this amount as a mortgage to supplement the cash that I currently have, and then move ahead. And so this is just something that I wanted to share with everyone before we get into the meat of this discussion. Like I've mentioned, if you do have questions, please leave them in the chat box. We would respond to them in the course of the webinar. We will allow for our speakers to run through their presentations and ask the questions at the end. So please just jot them down so that you don't forget. So thank you very much. At this point, I want to introduce Sandra Muzimba. I'll let her do an elaborate introduction herself, but I mean, she's an industry colleague. And as I mentioned before, she's returning to this webinar. Yeah, she's one of our favorites. And so, Sandra, over to you.
Thank you so much, Dansoaa, Seso Global, Fidelity, for having me. It's such an honor and a privilege as always. I definitely love connecting with you every time I see you and discussing insights and what's going on in the industry. And it's such a great opportunity to join the panel. I personally do love the opportunity to continue to educate people on our learning, since this is our core. We're in it every day. We're learning. We know what's going on. We know what's new. And it's a personal something that I love to do, continuing to educate. So yes, let me go ahead and share my screen. And I will just have a short presentation to walk through. So let me try and do that. Okay, please do let me know if you can see my screen. Hi, Dansoaa, can you see my screen? I think you're on mute, just to be sure.
Yes, yes, I can.
Okay, excellent. All right, so before I get started talking about the lands that we have to offer, I'll just take it a step back and talk about the developer. So I do work for Cape May as the head of sales and marketing. in the capacity of the head of sales and marketing. And Cape May, our mission and vision is to be the most ambitious and prestigious developer. But what I ultimately do love about Cape May is that we have a lot of different offerings for our clients. So if you are looking for a high-rise luxury apartment, or you're looking for a townhome, or you're looking for a service plot, we have anything that you're looking for. Our ultimate need is to cater to whatever the society is looking for and to make sure that we have various options for you. So talking a little bit about the developer and who we are, because I also do think this is an important factor when you are looking to invest in land. Who is behind it? Are they verifiable? How long have they been doing this? Will I end up in trouble? Will this land have the potential of being resold again? I'm not saying this to scare anybody off, but we have heard a lot of stories out there. And typically when we do go on international road shows, these are the stories that you hear out there. A lot of our diaspora brothers and sisters are very skeptical of investing back home because of the stories. You know, my land, I bought a land and I invested in it. And, you know, I came back and, you know, somebody else has built on it. So I like to talk about the Cape May, who we are. We are a verifiable developer and it's a Ghanaian family-owned company. We are internationally recognized because we are committed to our promise. So a lot of the things that we've put out there and we said we're going to do, we've done it. We've received a few awards. So when you are investing with us, you do not have a problem. We are most popularly known for the signature apartments, but these are some of the other projects we've done. We have commercial buildings, Nicholas Plaza and Amenfi Plaza. We are currently building the tallest building in Ghana, which is Sultan Sky. But I'm here to talk about Park Ridge Estate. A few people do not know that we do have a gated community in East Airport, and it is such a great location. People would consider it prime land. I like to put that word in prime because when I do talk about prices, you have to understand that, you know, when you're buying a really great accessible piece of land, there is a bit of a premium on it, but also because it's an asset that will grow in value. So under Cape May is Park Ridge Estate. It is a fantastic family-friendly community. And ultimately, in about 3 to 5 years, what we want to see is the community built out. So Dansoaa did talk about it, and she mentioned that when you buy in a community, there are usually timelines attached to it. And yes, we do have timelines. So when you come in and you invest in the service plots that we have, we share with you all of our building regulations. So there's no surprises. We walk you through the process and we share all the documents with you. So there's no surprises. You know, you have all the paperwork in front of you. You can go for the evaluations. We have surveyors on site as well. So Park Ridge in about 3 to 5 years should be fully built out. So that is the timeline that we do give you to get started. And so it will also have common area amenities such as a playground, a clubhouse, a swimming pool, a sports court as well. So I mentioned that this is in East Airport, which is very accessible to a lot of international schools, healthcare facilities, and the bustling business district of Spintex. I mentioned this again because it's prime land, okay? So you're buying into all of these things. If you're buying as an investment to build, you do want to also have in mind who are the tenants. So right now it's actually a livable community already. We do have tenants who are, you know, CEOs, country managers of very big brands. So they are looking for family-friendly homes and communities. So when you're like, okay, I want to invest in this land, and this is the vision I have for it to be able to give me these returns, these are all the things you want to look at: accessibility, what's around it, will it grow in value? Even if I hold it for 1 year, what is the sellability? So I love to mention these things about Park Ridge because we've had great success stories so far. Like I mentioned, we have people living in Park Ridge already. So I will move on to our development map. This is the development map of Park Ridge Estates. So on the map, you will see already existing structures and you will see all the areas shaded in blue are sold. but the ones which are green are still available. So we are almost sold out, but there are quite a few service plots available. And what I love is we have whatever you're looking for. Dansoaa mentioned standard size plots, which typically 70 by 100 in size, or premium size 100 by 100. But also on our maps, it's fully labeled the sizes in square meters of what you're buying into. So again, when you're buying with the developer, this is all the information that is readily available for you. We walk you through everything. You see all the paperwork and no surprises. As a value add as well, we as a developer, we also do add services to build for you as well. This is Park Ridge. This is not the best picture. I just did it really quickly, but just to show you that it's real and it's active. This is the front gatehouse of Park Ridge. So our security is there 24/7 already in place. So it's not an area that's developing. It is ready. Road system is amazing. They've just done the roads there as well. Sometimes when you are seeing all these lands available out there, the prices are very amazing. Like Dansoaa mentioned, there's a budget out there for everybody, but you also have to understand what the implications of certain areas are. You know, it may still be developing. Yes, you can hold on to it. It will grow in value if you're not ready to build out. In a few years, yes. So you want to think about all of these things with the vision that you have about the returns. So Park Ridge, like I mentioned, already road systems in place, location is fantastic, already livable. And then we do have a value added service where we build. So the image in front of me is one of the home types that we also are able to build for you, if that's something that you are also considering. If you're outside in the diaspora, you're still skeptical, you're not sure, if you start a project, who is going to monitor it for me? We can do all of that. And then this is an image of the sports court, which is to come as well. And then some of the townhomes that we also are willing to build out if you're ready to do that. So aside from land, we also offer the building services as well. But I'm gonna go back to this map just to show you, if you give me 1 second. Okay, so all in all, we have different sizes of lands available. We walk you through the process. If you do want to build, we offer building services where we will be giving you construction updates throughout the building process as well. Typically, if we do build for you, it's about 12 to 18 months that we do take to build. And if you are looking to buy a plot of land with us, the timeline for your payments is about 6 months. But again, everything is negotiable with Cape May. That's what I really love. A few developers have very strict timelines, which you cannot customize, but we welcome you to come and sit with us, show us your budget, show us what can work for you, and we do work out the payment plan with you. So we have, I think, we can go up to 1 year. But ultimately, as I mentioned, that when you buy into a community, there is quite some building timelines along with that. So in 3 to 5 years, everything should be fully built out at Park Ridge Estates. So as you can see, there is an existing road system in place already. When you're looking to buy land, you want to look to see our essential services in place. You could find a beautiful land, but you know what? There's no water for you to start. Electricity is non-existent yet. Roads not done. These are all things that, you know, will kind of set you back a bit if you have a timeline to start right away. But at Park Ridge, everything's in place. We do, as I mentioned, already have security, which are it's a guard source system, so they do have to walk around the development and make sure that everything is secure and in place. We do have building regulations, so when you do start building on your site, there have to be safety boardings in place and all of that. I mention these things because a lot of the times when you do buy a plot outside that's not in a community, automatically right away, you have to instantly wallet. Okay, so you have to wallet because we, of course, hear all the stories that people come and start building, and then you automatically have to get a caretaker who is going to sit on your land and just guarding to make sure that nothing happens. I personally, I have been in a situation where you bought a land, you come back, and there's a stone wall on it, and there's nothing you can do. Taking it to court is going to be, a waste of time. So that's why I'm here to speak on the benefit of buying within a gated community, and specifically with Park Ridge Estates like Cape May. You're assured that it's going to be a hassle-free process. We have a lot of experts on board who are there to help you every step of the way, and myself, I'm there to walk you through the journey. So thank you so much, Dansoaa. I'll just walk you through a few photos of some of the other house types, but I know that this is a focus more of the service plot available. This is the Harmony, which if you want to buy a house, it's available. You buy it, we build it on the plot for you. This is a Haven as well, a Royal. So they're quite luxurious floor plans, customizable as well, but everything that you need, we can also take your design and build whatever that you want. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sandra. I liked one thing in particular that you mentioned, that everything is negotiable. In Ghana, everything is negotiable. But I like that flexibility. It just shows that you're in tune with, what the consumer may be going through and the multiple demands. I have seen all your questions. We will definitely get through them. So please, yes, please bear with me. I was going to say that we have dropped the link to the marketplace into the chat, and we're going to drop a couple of links in the chat. I will run through after Razak's presentation what they are for. But just to touch a bit on what Sandra said, this is a prime location. It's a prime real estate product, and there really is something for everyone in the Ghanaian market. And if you are interested in a viewing, and I'm glad that she actually showed pictures of what is there. And look, it is there. It's there, flesh and blood. So if you would like a viewing, we're also going to leave a contact in the chat box so that we connect you to Sandra and then the Cape May team. And we're going to need money to afford these houses. I saw one of the prices, and also the land, because we all want to live in prime Accra, don't we? That's where all the action's going on. And so our next speaker, Abdul Razak Jima, he's from Fidelity Bank. He's going to solve all our money problems, And so please, Razak, you can come online and run us through what Fidelity has in store for us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. So my name is Abdul Razak Jima, and the mortgage manager at Fidelity Bank. I lead and oversee mortgage lending operations of the bank, and also involves in driving the mortgage sales strategies, developing and nurturing relationship with partners and customers, and ensuring regulatory compliance within the bank for mortgage operations. And Fidelity Bank is a tier 1 Ghanaian bank that started operations as a universal bank in 2006. Now, prior to that, Fidelity Bank operated as a discount house and earned a respected position as the leading discount house in the country. Currently, we are the largest indigenous private Ghanaian bank, and with a network of over 75 branches and over 130 ATMs. And we are within over 13 regions of the 16 regions of Ghana, and continue to extend our footprint in the entire Ghanaian market. So Fidelity, I would say, we offer mortgages to customers. And so basically, if you want a mortgage facility to be able to buy your dream home, is something that Fidelity can be able to give you, and we will assist you to be able to do that, whether you're a resident Ghanaian, non-resident Ghanaian. or even an expert with a tie to Ghana, and we can also offer you a mortgage facility. Apart from the home purchase mortgage, we have what we call the home equity mortgage, and for resident Ghanaians who have properties in Ghana but want to release equity to be able to maybe meet some financial obligation or even acquire a plot of land, we can give them the home equity mortgage. And there's home improvement mortgage, and a facility that enables individuals to improve upon their properties in Ghana. Either you want to undertake extension works, or you want to renovate it, or you want to add on to the current number of bedrooms that you have, we can give you a home improvement mortgage. Now, apart from home improvement mortgage, we also offer pension-backed mortgage for those that are resident in Ghana and who are contributors of Tier 3. That's the Provident Fund. And we can also give you 100% mortgage financing, which is what we call the pension-backed mortgage. With that facility, you don't need to make any down payment. The bank gives you 100% financing. The only thing that you are required to do is to pledge your Tier 3 or pension fund with the bank, and then the bank through that will be able to give you the mortgage facility. Now, apart from that, the final one I want to touch on is what we call the service plot and financing, which we'll be dealing more on today. And so it's also another facility that we have, that if you're an individual and want a service plot, and we can also help you to acquire such plot and then develop it at a later date. Then the final one is what we call an escrow account service. So the bank also, in order to aid transactions between buyers of real estate and then sellers of real estate, what it is that the bank also offer what we call an escrow account service, where the bank will then become an intermediary and then be able to hold the assets for both the buyer and the seller to ensure that some financial obligations or commitments are met, and after which we can then release it and both parties will then be satisfied and move on. So that service also we offer, especially for our diasporian customers who want to acquire property in Ghana but not in Ghana, and they want us to help in ensuring that at least the vendor completes the property, the vendor hands over the document to the property to the bank before the bank will release the funds to the vendor, to ensure that at least both the buyer, the seller, and the bank, we are all satisfied, and it becomes a win-win situation and for all the parties involved. So that is a short summary about myself and Fidelity Bank. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Razak. And once again, thank you, Sandra. I mean, Fidelity has a whole bouquet of products, you know, from the purchasing to the home equity, land purchase, home equity. And so as we keep on saying, there is something for everyone. And we're happy to bring you all the options that are available. We have a lot of questions, and so I'm not going to waste much time. I'm going to jump into them. And Razak, since you're the most recent speaker, the first question goes to you. And if you could just quickly run us through the eligibility requirements for the land mortgage. Do you guys do every kind of land? Because you were specific in saying serviced plots. So if you can let us know what that means in Fidelity terms, and then also what the requirements are.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So in Fidelity, when we say service plot, and we are looking at a plot of land that one is either located in a gated community where you have the necessary infrastructure, and then basically you have the demarcation for roads, demarcation for drainage, and maybe for utilities such as maybe water and electricity. Now, when you have such a plot and you want us to help you purchase that, Fidelity can assist you to do that. Now, apart from the one with the gated community, and we also can assist you to purchase a plot of land that is located within the center business district. Okay, so because most of the time for such a plot, which means the plot is located within the cities where the roads have already been done, the infrastructure layout is already done. So if you have one of such property, we can also assist you with that. So it's not only gated community being offered by developers, But if you have a private individual who is putting up a property that is located within the city, and we can also do what we call the service plot mortgage financing for you. Now, to qualify, the main requirement is that you should be an income earner, because you will be expected to make the repayment of that facility. So you are either a business owner, which is self-employed, or you earn salary, which is an employee. So if you fall within these two categories, what happens is that we can then grant you the mortgage facility. Now with that, we will assess you for a salary earner. We will assess you using your salary payment. So we'll take your 3-month pay slips, and then your 6-month bank statement showing your salary credit. And if you are resident in Ghana, what happens is that we will pull your credit report from either XDS Data, Hudson Price, or Dun & Bradstreet. But if you are non-resident, what will happen is that we will need a credit report from either Experian, Equifax, or TransUnion to enable us to work on your affordability and also look at your credit worthiness by reviewing your credit history of the facilities that you've already taken before. Apart from these 3 documents, what we also need is a copy of the title document of the land that you intend to purchase, because we need to undertake some due diligence to ascertain the true owner of the property and also ensure that the property is not encumbered. So we will also take a copy of the title document, and then your sales and purchase agreement that you have with your vendor. It will also help us to understand the conditions that you have within the agreement that you've signed with the vendor, and also help us understand the loan amount that we are looking at. As a bank, what it is that there are some criteria or LTVs that we work with. So at least the sales and purchase agreement will also give us more information and to understand what we need to do. So these are pretty short, and then you complete an application form. There is a mortgage application form that you complete also for us, and then you open an account. That account is the account that you use in servicing the land mortgage facility that we are offering to you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Razak. Mohammed Abubakar, I think that answers parts of your question. You asked what are the requirements for someone who is not Ghanaian to buy land in Ghana. And I think Razak did mention if you're not located in Ghana, you can still access it through submitting your documents for the relevant KYC. And then for property in general, you don't have to be a Ghanaian to buy property. The law allows non-Ghanaians to buy property in Ghana. The only difference is that the leasehold that you're given is 50 years at a time. Okay, so that's the maximum leasehold. Let me put it that way. The maximum leasehold that you're permitted is 50 years at a time. So it can be renewed, but the maximum in any given document is 50 years. So Mohammed, thank you so much for that question. I think I have a question for Sandra. And it said, I think it's really for you to clarify. I'm looking on the site and I see homes starting from 350 USD, and you said payments could not exceed 1 year. I understood that to be for the land, but Sandra, if you can please clarify.
Okay, so when it comes to the home types, the payment plans that we have in place are called milestone payment plans. So we walk you through, when you come in and you're ready to make a commitment, you'll pay a reservation. And then the next payment will be at commencement of construction, where we'll clear the land and we'll build it to substructure level. And that is a 50% payment that is due. And then the next stage will be once the substructure is done, the next stage will be at finishing. So at finishing is another 20% that is due. And then after finishing will be at handover. So it's broken down from a 50%, 20, 20, 10. And typically it does take us, I mean, we build pretty quickly, but a maximum of 2 years to build. But once your house is ready, you pay and move in, you know? So it's just based on the construction speed.
Right. And milestone payments also help you to ensure that like the developer is also meeting their requirements. You're not just paying money.
Right.
You're paying money for something to be done, and then the next payment is triggered by completion of the work prior. So
Yes.
Richmond is asking, this is for you, Sandra, am I also allowed to use my own developer if I buy a lot from Cape May? And if yes, what are some of the rules and regulations? He's acknowledging that you can't exhaust everything here, but if you can highlight the most salient points.
Definitely. So yes, that's initially how Park Ridge Estate started off. You buy the land and then it's over to you. So the rules and regulations are mostly because we did know that we're going to have different kinds of building contractors coming in. So it's mostly just to ensure the security and cleanliness of the ongoing construction, while we do also have people living in the estate. So yes, you are allowed to bring your own contractor. You are required to register them, and all the workers who are coming in, we have their photos. They get the sign-in badges so that the security knows who's coming in and out of the development. So a lot of the rules and regulations are centered around safety and cleanliness of the development. And I can always, if you want to share your details in the chat, and I can also just send you over the regulations to read through as well, because like you said, they are quite a lot of rules and regulations. But pretty much that's the overall idea of what we're trying to achieve from having those in place.
Yeah, thanks, Sandra. And for everyone here, Sandra is going to share the rules and regulations and also the pricing. I've seen a few questions about the pricing. Yeah. So all of this will be shared with everyone here, everyone who attended. So if you've missed anything, we'll send the recording and all of these additional details as well. There's a question here, it's anonymous. What if a seller has offered this? I think I would take it. What if a seller has offered me a freehold plot that they acquired years before when the freeholds were permitted? Can I be sold the freehold as that is what the seller has and it's outside of a CRA? So the answer is no, you can't be sold that freehold because the transaction is in present day. And so the Lands Commission would recognize it as a present day transaction, and being a present day transaction, the leasehold will be truncated to the maximum that is allowable. So if this is something that you have negotiated already with the seller, what you can do is you can immediately go and renegotiate a renewal. Okay, you can do that from the outset so that you are given the reversionary interest as well. And that would have to be registered after your initial lease is expired. So a reversionary interest is just the time frame that starts after the first lease. So please go and renegotiate the terms with the seller. It is possible to hold a freehold in the sense that you can be renewed over and over and over again, but on the face of it, you can't be granted a freehold interest. So thank you. So back to Razak. So I have a question here. What are the pros and cons of getting a mortgage in Ghana right now?
Thank you. So for mortgage financing, it most of the time depends on your circumstance. So if you are looking at the pros and cons, it depends on your circumstance. So for example, if you have someone who wants to acquire property in Ghana and the person is, let's say, in the diaspora or in abroad, and you want to build your own house, then now the challenge is that you'll be at the mercy of scrupulous people and others who would like to maybe take your money and then not do the project that you want to do. But for mortgage financing, it affords you the opportunity to get some due diligence being done. And one of the advantages is that you easily acquire a dream home without you having to hassle, to struggle to also undertake some due diligence that you want, without you having to save a lot of money for a long period of time. What happens is that the bank comes in and is able to avail to you 80% of the selling price of the property that you are interested in. All that is required of you is to make a down payment of 20%. So in that case, you don't need to take a long period to and have some savings before you are able to buy the property. Two, is that the bank undertakes some due diligence for you. So we'll conduct the searches on the land to to confirm the true owner of that property, and also be able to do some due diligence on the valuation of the property that you intend to purchase. So we have our list of experienced valuers who would then go to the property and then undertake some valuation and ensure that the property or the land that you intend to purchase and the price at which it's being sold to you is commensurate with the value of the property that you have. So that is also another due diligence that the bank does for you, which is also an advantage. And the other one is that after you also purchase the property through a mortgage financing, the bank on best effort basis will also try and perfect the title in your name for you, because we recognize your current schedule and we don't want to burden you with the challenge of going around at Lands Commission to try and perfect the title. As part of the service that we offer for mortgage financing is that when you buy the plot or the property, the indenture that is given in your name, the bank will then take it and then take it to Lands Commission to try and perfect it and get it in your name and get you the land title certificates. But we will hold on to the title certificate until you are done with the payment of the mortgage facility, and then it's given back to you. So that is also another advantage. Disadvantage, I would say, depending on where you are coming from, you will be paying an interest, basically, because mortgage is a loan. So there is an alternative forgone that you have to pay an interest on the facility that you have taken. So maybe someone might consider that one as a disadvantage, but it's an interest that you pay for acquiring the property at an early stage. And one of the other advantage too is that by taking the mortgage, you are also able to enjoy the benefit of what I call you enjoying the rate, where because of the increase in the prices of property with the mortgage financing, the lender is able to help you hedge against inflation, which is an increase in the prices of properties. So by so doing, when you take a mortgage facility, you are hedging against the future increase in the price of property. The reverse is, if you don't take a mortgage and you have to save for 2, 3, or 5 years time to be able to acquire that property, what will happen is that the price of that property in 2, 3 years time might not be the same as compared to today. So mortgage affords you the opportunity to hedge against the future increase in the price of properties. If also you are a resident in Ghana and you are buying your primary residence, what happens is that you also enjoy what we call a mortgage tax relief, okay? As part of the regulations in Ghana, when you buy your first primary home, and you enjoy some tax relief on the interest that you pay on the mortgage facility that you have. So I'll say these are pretty few of the pros and cons of taking a mortgage facility.
Thank you so much, Razak. I think what's very unique about the land mortgage is that while you're paying for the land, you can actually be building your house at the same time. So it really does compress the time. And like I said, with what property prices look like currently in Accra, waiting, it's really not an option. I've seen prices double in 12 months. That's like in the span of 12 months. And so again, it's not to rush anyone, but it's just to let you know the realities on the ground. And so if you are interested in looking at how you can access a mortgage for Parkview or any other property that you have seen, please reach out to our team. We put our details in the chat box. Sandra has also shared hers, and we will reach out to you, connect you with Fidelity. They will run an assessment, help you understand even what you qualify for, because that's part of it, right? If you know what you qualify for, it helps you understand what you should be looking at, in terms of land and any kind of property. So thank you for running us through that, Razak. Eric was asking whether Seso has properties in Kumasi. Yes, we have developers who have properties in Kumasi. Like I mentioned, we have our details in the chat box. So please feel free to either leave your contact or you can leave it in the Q&A. I've seen quite a few comments saying that the chat box has been disabled, so you can't drop a message. So you can just leave your details in the Q&A. Our team will pick it up and share with you what we have in Kumasi, in Takrade, in Nigeria, in case you're looking for something outside of Ghana as well, Nigeria, Liberia, and then also SA. So yes, we do have in Kumasi. Sandra, are people permitted to do Airbnb at Parkview? Are there any restrictions?
I definitely think there are restrictions, but we also do know that people are buying it as an investment. What I do know is we will definitely encourage the long-term rentals rather than the short-term in and outs, because it's definitely geared to be like a family-friendly community. So when you have kids riding their bikes and then you have people who are coming in for short stays, you know, it gets a little tricky when it comes to just managing the security. So I do know long-term rentals we encourage. Airbnb as in like short stay, 1 or 2 days, probably not, based on security risks and all of that.
Right, yeah, so the preferred is long-term rentals as opposed to the short-term rentals. Okay, there's a question here. How much is the cost of a full plot? I have mentioned that we will share all the pricing details, but Sandra, would you like to answer?
Yes, so on average, the plots standard size were $185,000. And again, I mentioned that the location is key. Where Parkridge is located is really prime. It's just down the road from Airport Hills. It's down the road from Palace Mall, like 2 minutes drive. It's close to schools. It's close to healthcare facilities. But there are a lot of land prices out there. But what you do realize is that, you know, it's in areas where maybe essential services are not in place. So those are things that I want you guys to consider when you do see the prices, and think about what your goal is. Is it long term, or is it, you know, 10 years from now? Do you want to start making your money back? Which at Parkridge you do like almost immediately. It's a ready community. So yes, I will share. We have a lot of different sized plots and prices associated with that. Close to amenities or in a more private area. So whatever you're looking for, we have.
All right. Yes, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And I know sometimes people hear prices and they're like, yikes, you know, but again, I just want to reiterate that it is a premium plot. And remember, we talked about understanding the objective. Now, if your objective is for investment, it's not necessarily something that you have to do on your own. I have seen business partners coming together, friends coming together to acquire property, and acquire property that individually they wouldn't have been able to. And so this might be you. So perhaps you may not have 175,000, but you have 30,000, and you have 4 other friends who have the same amount of money. Nothing prevents you from coming together, forming an LLC, and using it for the acquisition of real estate and property in prime areas and areas that you are quite certain are going to give you the kind of returns that you may be looking for. So that, like, when we think of real estate, like someone said, real estate is never about not having enough money, it's about ideas. So always think about it in a multi-dimensional factor. If you're looking for something in a city and it's not something you can do on your own, I do believe that there's someone in your network who's probably thinking the exact same way as you are. Nothing is really beyond anyone's reach. So I just wanted to throw that in there for the individuals. Yes, we hear your feedback about the chat box, so we're going to drop the details in the Q&A. Thank you so much for bearing with us. Yes, we do have a YouTube channel. It's Seso Global on YouTube. So please feel free to check us out over there. Issa will drop the details here, like I have mentioned. Razak, back to mortgages. What's the process for, okay, this is not necessarily for you, but the question is, what's the process for acquiring land for a JV to develop apartments? Would the bank do this? That's something that probably I would want you to address. And is it standard to pay a down payment for JV land? And how is that determined? what are the rights and the correct documents which must be ensured to be signed over by the JV developer or the development company in a JV partnership. So I'll just quickly touch on JVs in general, and then Razak, you can touch on where the bank stands with someone acquiring land for a JV. JVs, joint ventures, for anybody who doesn't know, it stands for joint venture. And the typical structure of a joint venture is you have a landowner and then you have a developer, construction partner. The land isn't technically sold, but the construction partner is given permission to build on the land. And in exchange, they either get some units from the development or some units and cash. The criteria really varies because it's really up to what the parties determine. And so I wouldn't say that there is a laid out process. As far as land acquisition is concerned, you're going to have to go through the due diligence, the legal requirements, the commercial considerations, because I believe if it's a JV, it's purely an investment proposition that you are pursuing. And whether it is a standard to pay a down payment, it really depends. I have seen JVs where no down payment was made. I have seen JVs where the landowner says, okay, give me $200,000 plus X number of units in your development, give me 500 CDs. It really depends on the value of the land and the objective of both parties, because the landowner has the leverage. They have the location you want. You have the leverage in part because you have the land, the funds to develop the place. So it really depends. And I would always say, because there are multiple parties to a JV, always go through a lawyer. I mean, land transaction, property transactions in general, they are legal transactions. So you need legal advice. So please always, always, always work through a lawyer. If you don't have anybody, like I said, we are your go-to people. We can connect you to a lawyer who will help you draft the documentation, help you with all the considerations that need to go into the documentation to protect your interest, and then also the interest of the seller. So Razak, where does Fidelity sit when someone wants to buy land for the purpose of using a JV? Oh, sorry, purpose of a JV.
No, okay. So as I said, we offer service plot financing. So if you are looking at buying the plot, we can always assist you to purchase it. But what will happen is that, as you rightly said, the JV arrangement would then have to be between the buyer and then the seller, so that you both can agree on how you want the terms to be run. But if you want us to help you to purchase that plot, why not? We are more than willing to assist.
So the answer is a yes. I told you Razak is going to solve all our problems, all our financial problems, all our financial problems for us. So yes, if you want to acquire land for a JV, it's very possible with Fidelity. And still on Fidelity, what assurance does the bank do? I'm sure it's due diligence to ensure that the existing home or construction is built correctly. And as an international certified, this is from EJ. So he is an internationally certified building inspector. And many of my clients find that the plumbing has issues. So basically, what due diligence is done on the property itself?
No, thank you. Thank you. So for mortgage financing, I'll state that the first due diligence first should come from the buyer. And you should be interested in your property, how it looks like, and whatever feature you want or features you want to see on the property. So first due diligence will be on the customer to ensure that at least you are getting value for money. The second due diligence from the bank's perspective is that what we do is that we also contact and get the services of a valuer, who would then undertake valuation of the property, looking at the structural settings of the property to ensure that the property sits on the right footing and the location of the property is not in an area liable to flooding, and the value being offered to you is commensurate with the selling price that you have. So those are the few due diligence that the bank will do on the property. And also we go a step further to maybe do due diligence on the title. of the property that you intend to purchase or intend to have. Because what it is that for us, it's important that we conduct that due diligence at Lands Commission, and that will then confirm the true owner of that property. And as rightly stated earlier on by Dansoaa, now how do you confirm the name that you have on the title search to the person that you are seeing or that's in front of you saying he's the owner of that land or property? So you have to take the ID of the person, and God being so good in Ghana, we currently have one standard ID that has been adopted by the central bank, which is the Ghana card. So you have to submit or procure or get us a Ghana card to confirm that you are the true owner. Apart from that too, there's what we call an enhanced due diligence being done also by either the individual or our good self. What it is that we have to go the extra mile to also check on the vendor, especially if it's a private vendor, to find out if the person selling the property, where does the person resides, where does the person work, and which people, and go into the community and find out if people know the person that we are talking about, and the land or the property that you are buying. Do the neighbors around know that the seller selling to you is the true owner of it? So that due diligence is also done by the bank to support you to be able to acquire that your dream home. Now, apart from that too, what happens is we also take on legal opinion on the title, especially of the property that you intend to purchase. What it is that on the face of it, the title alone will not give you, or the search report will not give you full details of the issues behind the land title. So what it is that we get legal opinion on the search that we've received for the property to ensure that at least if they are consent to assign or consent to mortgage, and it's a requirement that we need to get, we also follow through to ensure that at least that is required from the rightful department or unit or family, to ensure that at least you are also at peace with yourself. Then the other bit too is that to also review basically the sales and purchase agreement that you are getting, especially if it's from a developer, to ensure that at least the clauses in there are not clauses that will also affect the mortgage transaction that we are going to go in that with you. Because for the service plot financing, the maximum tenor we do is 72 months. So within the 72 months, if you have a clause in there that says that if you are not able to develop the property within the first 5 years, you will lose the property and it will revert back to the owner. And we have to then negotiate with the vendor to ensure that at least that clause is either amended or reviewed, so that within that same arrangement, we cannot all come into a conclusion on how to handle it, so that not within the process or within the time frame given to you, because you are not able to undertake the development works within the stipulated period, you then have to lose the land that you have bought through a mortgage financing. So we do that due diligence for you. Then the final due diligence, I will also say, is that sometimes you'll be given the title to a property or to a land, but which of the lands are they talking about? Is it land A, land B, or land C? You have a title, but the title does not refer you to any particular land. So we do what we call a geodetic survey report to ascertain the exact location of the land being offered to you on the title. So basically, it's to cross-check the site plan on the title that you have been given against the land that has been pointed out to you, for you to be able to be sure that at least the title that you are holding is the title for land A, and it's land A that you are buying and not land B. So these are some of the few due diligence that the bank undertakes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Razak. We still have quite a few questions to go through, but I just want to just shout out to our US affiliates. Seso has a very broad network of partners that we work with all over the world, UK, US, Canada, and very recently in Europe, in Finland. I also mentioned UK, right? And so if you were referred to this webinar by a US affiliate, please reach out to them. They have all the information that you need. They can run you through various aspects of the conversations that have been had. They can schedule a meeting, in-person meeting with you. And like I said, the recording is going to be shared with everyone here. So please don't think you're going to miss anything. Everything is going to be shared. I'm also going to show Seso's contact details on the marketplace link as well, so that quite a few of you are looking for additional information. And so that's just going to go up on screen shortly. Sandra, can you run us through service charges? What are there any service charges? What does it cover, and how often is it paid?
Okay, yes. So as I mentioned, Parkridge is still a community that is being established. We are charging a service charge, but we're subsidizing it quite heavily right now because we do know that the common area amenities are not in place yet. So currently, you will be charged probably about 50% of that service charge. And that is because already when you come in, we have security that's in place already. We have to pay for them. We have common area cleaners who are in place already. As the ongoing construction is going on, there has to be, cleaning in place. We do have essential services in place, so there's already electricity available, water is available, we have a road system already available in place. So we are still establishing the community. We do not have all contracts in place already. So when you're looking at the common area amenities, we do know that it will essentially cover the trash removal, it'll cover water treatment, it'll cover common area cleaning, as I mentioned, security, and those are typically most of the services. And then of course the upkeep of the common areas. So when the clubhouse is in place and the pool is also running, and there's going to be cleaning services needed for the pool and the upkeep of the tennis court and sports court. So those are all not in place, but eventually this is what the common area maintenance, we call it common area maintenance, will cover. So we are charging $150 a month, and we charge it at a 6-month period.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. So there is a service charge, which is currently discounted, but it will reflect market values as the development progresses. Thank you so much. Again, money questions all through. So Fidelity, can you run us through the loan terms and then also your interest rate? Fidelity has fixed interest rates, which is very uncommon in Ghana, but I won't steal the win from Razak's sales. I'm going to let him run us through the terms and then the interest rates and how they structure that. Okay, Razak.
Thank you very much, and Dansoaa. Yes, for our service plot and financing, what it is that we have what we call the fixed interest rate for the period, and we also have a variable rate for the mortgage facility. So depending on the one that you want, and we can offer that to you. However, if you are looking at standard mortgage facility, and apart from the fixed and the variable, we also have what we call the vanilla interest rate, where for the first 4 years of the mortgage facility, and we fix it for you. And then after the fourth year, you can either opt for a variable rate or maintain the fixed rate facility. That is also available to anyone who wants such a facility. Now for service plot financing, as I said earlier, we are doing for a maximum tenor of 72 months. And with this facility too, what happens is that we have it both in Ghana cedis and then in US dollars. So anyone who works and live in Ghana and earns Ghana cedis, we can offer you a service plot financing in Ghana cedis. And with the Ghana cedi service plot financing, the rate ranges between 20% and then 23.5%. And then for the USD and mortgage facility, and we also have the rate ranging between 10% to 12%. So when you come, such a facility will be made available to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So this question is for both Razak and then Sandra. So property insurance, is that a requirement first and foremost for Parkview? Okay, maybe Razak should answer since he's already on. But for Parkview, is that a requirement? Are people required to insure their properties? And then for Fidelity, what are the requirements for property insurance? And if you buy land, is there anything like insurance that covers the land? I don't know if you can educate us. So Razak, you can go, and then after that, Sandra, you may follow.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. For standard mortgage facility, that is you buying maybe a completed 10-key property. We have two main insurance. Property or risk insurance is one of the requirements that we want you to take on insurance on the property to cover you and cover the property against any natural disaster or eventuality, such as fire, such as wind, such as flooding, so that in case any of such an eventuality happens, the insurance company will reinstate back the property to you. So property insurance is compulsory to ensure that at least when such eventuality happens, you will not lose your home, and then your family will not be hanging around and having to struggle to now go and get a place to rent. So we want to protect both yourself, your family, and then the bank. So you will be expected to take what we call the property insurance. In addition to that, you also do what we call the mortgage life protection insurance against the individual borrower. This is to also protect you against permanent disability, critical illness, temporary disability, or death, so that in case such eventuality happens, the insurance company can pay off the mortgage for you, and both your good self and your family can enjoy your property in times of difficulty where you are unable to work, where you are incapacitated, and then you cannot move. At least the insurance company will pay off the mortgage facility, and you then can enjoy it. For service plot financing, that one is only the plot of land, and because it's just a plot of land, you are not expected to do any property insurance on the plot of land. What is required is only the mortgage life protection insurance on the loan. So you do that insurance to at least protect you in case of the critical illness, permanent disability, temporary disability, or death. Then at least the insurance company can pay off the facility, and your family can still lay claim to their property or land, and then develop it into the dream home that you have always planned for the family.
Thank you, Razak. Sandra, what does property insurance look like with Parkview? Is it a requirement?
Right. So for us, the building regulations do go into detail about the contractor that you're going to use, and I do believe that the contractor you use has to be able to show us the insurances that they have in place. But most of the liable insurance will be the responsibility of your contractor. So that is why we have the regulations in place to go through who you're even bringing on site and the insurances that they're gonna have in place. But it's mostly the responsibility of the homeowner and contractor to be able to show us that. And then ultimately, when your building is ready, yes, you do have to present to us the insurance that you have in place, because again, you're in a community, so should a fire set ablaze at your place, there is a neighbor who is close by. So we do insist that you do show us the insurance that you have in place.
All right, great, thank you. So property insurance, it's something that everybody who owns property must do. For the mortgage, it protects you doubly, the property, and then also, you're repaying a mortgage. And the last thing you want to do is not have insurance, lose the property, but still have the obligation to pay the mortgage, because the mortgage is on the loan that was taken. And as Sandra has rightly said, being in a community, insurance is necessary for the overall protection of everybody within that community. Thank you both. So wrapping up on the final questions, and then we'll take closing remarks from our speakers. Razak, what does work for a Fidelity profiled organization mean? You mentioned that as part of the qualification criteria.
Okay, so profile organization, are you looking at the developer or you are looking at...
This is for the individual.
Individual borrower.
Yes. Or you can give us from both, the borrower and then also the developer.
Okay, so for mortgage financing in Fidelity Bank, what is very important, as I said earlier, is that you should be earning an income. And because we know it's a secured and facility that you are taking, the most important thing that the company that you work for should be a company that is reputable, or a company that can stand the test of time, and it is not a one-man company that have been established that within the shortest possible time can just close or decide not to pay your salary that you have to use to service the mortgage facility. So if you are working with a credible institution that is fully registered with a registrar general, and it is not a one-man show business, is something that we'll consider, and we do that for you. And then for developers too, we have what we call an onboarded developer. So in Fidelity, we onboard developers where we undertake some due diligence on the developers, try to confirm that those developers have title to the lands that they want us to do the mortgage on, and also help to promote their business and internally to our customers, and then externally to some potential customers that we have. So there's an onboarding process that we do for developers, so that at least you also come and enjoy some of the benefits that we have within the bank. So it is open for any income earner if you're looking at the borrower.
All right, thank you so much. There was a question about red flags when partnering with a developer, but if you're going through Fidelity Bank, it has to be a developer they have done their due diligence on. So I think in undertaking their due diligence, well, not to say you don't have to, you're always going to have to do your due diligence, but they have helped you out in that regard. So thank you. We don't have a name for that, but thank you so much for asking that question. And then Razak, must your salary, is there a minimum salary that you must earn to be able to qualify for any mortgage? I know that mortgages range from the least amount to the highest amount, but is there a specific income that I have to be earning more than to even qualify?
No, the answer is no. The answer is no because properties vary, or the prices of properties vary from location to location. So if I give a minimum of, let's say, 10,000 Ghana cedis, and I'm looking at a property that is going for maybe $100,000, and then there is a property in the market which is going for, let's say, $50,000, which means what will happen is that we are telling someone who earns more than 10,000 that they can't take the facility. So that's how come it's important. It's mostly dependent on the property that you intend to purchase, and that will determine what the qualifying income should look like. Because if you are going for a high-end property, what will happen is that you'll still be expected to have a high-end income. If you are going for the middle or the lower end, which also implies that your qualifying amount will be lower than you expect. So I would say there's no qualifying amount. It all depends on the property or land that you intend to purchase, and that will determine what you can take, and also your age, because the facility that will be given to you is also dependent on your age. For instance, if you are going, as I said, for the service plot financing, we are doing 6 years. So if you have someone who is already maybe 57 and it's living in Ghana, and we know the retirement age in Ghana is 60 years, which means for such an individual, will only be able to do for 3 years. So in that case, for someone that you are doing for 3 years, you will require more income to be able to qualify for the amount that he wanted. But if you have someone who has more room in their years, what happens is that at least they are able to enjoy the full tenure of the facility. And so the longer the tenure, the lower the repayment amount, and also the lower the qualifying amounts that will be required.
Thank you so much, Razak. So there is no criteria. There's something for everyone. So I mean, if you're one of those lucky people who gets someone offering them 1,000 cedis, right, you can actually literally take a mortgage on that. Fidelity is telling you that it is possible. Final question, just because we need to wrap up. Final question. We're going to be available after this. The recording is going to be shared. So please don't worry if you're joining late. You won't miss anything. We will share the recording for you. Sandra also has something special to share with everyone, which she will be doing after this question has been answered. So Razak, are land mortgages available for non-Ghanaians? So I know there are two criteria for non-Ghanaians. There are non-Ghanaians living in Ghana, and then there are non-Ghanaians who don't live in Ghana. So can you just take us through those two criteria?
Thank you. Thank you very much. And so if you are a non-Ghanaian living in Ghana, which means you have ties to Ghana, either you are working in Ghana or has a business in Ghana or married to a Ghanaian, yes, we can do a mortgage and facility for you. And as you rightly said, for non-Ghanaian, the maximum lease term given is 50 years. So we will do the mortgage for you to be able to either acquire the plot of land or acquire your dream home that you want to have, so that at least you can use it in Ghana. So for non-Ghanaians living in Ghana, we can do the mortgage facility for you. However, for non-Ghanaians living outside, unless you have a certain tie to Ghana, we are unable to assist. That is to say that you are non-Ghanaian, but you are living outside. You have nothing to Ghana. There's nothing that will push you to Ghana. In that case, it becomes very difficult and for us to be able to grant you such a facility. So that does not apply to non-Ghanaians living outside unless you have some tie to Ghana.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Razak. So if you're a non-Ghanaian living in Ghana, you can access the mortgage. Currently, there isn't a product for non-Ghanaians not living in Ghana, but I know that Fidelity is working on it. This is a conversation we've had with them extensively. And so we believe in the future, something like this will be possible. And as soon as it is with Fidelity Bank, we would let you know. If you find yourself in that category, though, please feel free to reach out to Seso Global. We can see how best we can help. I said final question, but Sandra answered this question about the service charge, and there is a cost. The question here about homeowners association fee. So Sandra, I saw you typing an answer, but could you just answer live for everybody? And that, I promise, will be the last question.
Sorry, that's why you broke up there for a minute. I didn't hear what you said.
Homeowners association cost and the frequency of payments. If you could just go over that again.
All right, sure. So at Park Ridge, we call it common area maintenance. Okay, so it pretty much covers the maintenance and upkeep of all the common areas. But I want to add that since Park Ridge is still a community that is being established, we do know that the clubhouse will come later. The pool is not in place yet. The tennis court and all of that, we're waiting for the development to be about 80% sold. Before we built out all the amenities, but we're getting close. But because of that, we do have the common area maintenance fee heavily subsidized, but we are charging it because we already have the 24-hour security in place. So they are guarding the place for you, walking up and down, making sure nothing happens. We do have common area cleaning ongoing as your site is being constructed. We are there already cleaning up, and essential services are in place already. So lighting, when they are building, there's light in place, water is in place already. So the common area will typically be responsible for covering trash removal, common area cleaning, maintenance of the amenities, security, and just off the top of my head, those are the things that come to mind. But of course, these are all covered in your bylaws, and we show you and we let you know in advance as well. The HOA is charged 6 months at upfront, and right now it is $150 per month.
All right, so $150 charged upfront for 6 months. and this is currently subsidized. So it is expected to increase as the development grows, comes to completion. I am so grateful to our panelists that there's been a lot shared today. Gosh, I've gone through literally 100 questions, and I'm so grateful for such an engaging audience. And I think it's been a very meaningful session. I will allow for Sandra and Razak to give closing thoughts as we wrap up. But before we do so, just a few updates, reminders from me. The recording will be sent, so please just watch out for this in your inboxes. It should be shared by close of business tomorrow. If you were referred by an affiliate, please reach out to that affiliate. They have access to all the information that you need. They're available for in-person meetings. There was a question, I missed it, about whether we have an affiliate in Canada. Yes, we do. Our very own Chief Commercial Officer is currently in Canada. If you reach out to the number on your screens right now, she will definitely connect you to him. And you can have the conversations about moving forward with your acquisition in Parkview or your mortgage application as well. So, Sandra, closing thoughts.
All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to share my screen once again. Okay. All right, so I just did pull a few images of what people are doing at Park Ridge. Again, I like to show that it's real and people are building and it's ongoing. So yes, I'm so thankful for all the participants who joined the panel. It's been a pleasure and an honor. It is wonderful being able to share insights. And like I mentioned, Dansoaa and myself and also Abdul, we know each other. We've been in the game for a while. So we're excited to come on and share insights. And what I like to say is I don't call myself a sales agent. I call myself like a consultant. I like to sit with you, learn and understand what you're trying to do and help you get to that destination. And with the support of Dansoaa, and then also being able to connect you to Abdul at Fidelity, so we are able to carve out the pathway of how you can go about it. A lot of people, when they do see prices, they are a bit jittery. But the thing is, with land, it's verifiable. Year after year, it grows in value. And guess what? Land is not regenerating. It's not growing off of the trees. If you don't buy it now, you're going to buy it from someone at a premium. I think Dansoaa mentioned this earlier, that the best time to buy is now. It's not going to get any cheaper. It's only just going to get higher. So the best is to key in now. Even if you're not sure what to do, you can hold on to it. It's going to grow in value. If you're not sure what to do, you can always sell it off, and it would have generated some value for you. And then there's the Cape Mays who come into place. If you're far away and you are just not able to be hands-on, we handhold you from beginning to end. We're able to show you all the documentation. We share construction progress updates. If you don't even know who to key in to build for you when you buy the plot, we are here. We've done it, and we are going to do it for you as well. Different size plots, whatever your budget is, you sit with us, we walk through locations, we walk through the sizes. And again, if you do need the pathway of going through the banks, we have those partnerships as well. But I did share the benefits of the gated community, where you know that there are common area amenities for, if you're looking for that family-friendly feel and a great place to raise your child, then you're definitely looking at Park Ridge. Security's in place. You're not worried about people encroaching and you coming back to Ghana and the land is gone. These are all the benefits of prime land in great locations, that schools are available, healthcare facilities are available, close to business district and like all the major highways. So that's what Cape May brings to the table, is a wonderful gated community in East Airport with common area amenities and safety. Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. And Razak, if you could share your closing thoughts.
Thank you, Dansoaa. Just to also say that thank you very much, and thank you to all our participants and those that joined us. And just to say that if you want mini mortgage financing in Ghana, Fidelity is your best choice. We have a competitive interest rate, And then when we also come, anything that you want, we can help you, whether it is a land and purchase, whether it's a turnkey completed property, whether it is your home improvement facility, we can help you. Apart from that, we also undertake what I call the perfection of your title for you on best effort basis. We can assist you if not that you want to take a mortgage, you want us to help you with some escrow services. The bank is available to assist in that regard. And also to add, we also have a safe deposit box in Fidelity Bank. So after acquiring your properties or titles in Ghana and you don't have a place to keep, the bank can keep for you at a small fee. That is also available. So basically within the entire value chain of real estate and anything that you need, and Fidelity Bank is more than willing to assist you. If you need to get in touch with us, you can always speak to Seso Global and they will avail it. They will make it possible for us to engage with you and then see how to assist you. And we are more than willing to support you to acquire your dream home. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Razak. Thank you so much, Sandra. Like both of them have said, if you are interested in Parkview, interested in a mortgage, or even just understanding whether you know whether you'll qualify, but what you qualify for, you know, it's also part of the process. Please reach out to our team. We will happily connect you with the speakers. We are dedicated to bringing you the best professionals, the best service providers, and I'm confident, quite confident that this has been quite insightful for everybody who has attended. Sandra has indicated that there'll be a discount for all attendees. I'm going to strong arm her and make sure that she makes good on that promise.
You already did.
I was messaging her on the site to make sure that we're still good. So please, yes, reach out to the team. If you were a registrant to this webinar, Sandra is going to be very generous and give you a discount. She hasn't disclosed what it is, but it will be worth your while, trust me. And as Razak has said, Fidelity has the best rates and we're happy to partner with them to bring you closer to your real estate dreams. From me and the entire team at Seso, thank you so much for joining. It's been an insightful 1.5 hours. We will be coming again next month. Please watch out on our Instagram. If you don't follow us on Instagram, we're Seso Global on Instagram, on YouTube, and check your emails. We will be sending you the recordings. You can sign up to our newsletter and get updates on exclusive property deals like the one you've got over here. And yes, we are happy to connect. If you're looking to get Ghanaian citizenship, I saw that question, sorry, I didn't bring it up. Please just reach out to the team. We'll connect you with the right services to assist you in that regard. Thank you so much for joining and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.